high standards are very important. It's true.
Hands flux at an unpredictable interval.
Hello, my friends. I'm Professor Hans, my puppet, here today in this rather echoey room with my new best friend, Mr. Gary Johnson. How are you, Gary?
Oh, good.
Well, Governor Johnson, I should say.
Anything's fine. Gary's fine.
It's lovely to meet you. You seem like a casual cat.
I am a casual cat.
I like that about you, you know. Not all buttoned up and stuffy, you know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, let's get a couple of things straight.
Yes.
You are a third-party candidate.
Third-party candidate. I'm the candidate that has integrity in this race.
Well, that's unusual.
Yes.
So, which party is it specifically?
The Libertarian Party.
The Libertarian Party.
Libertarian Party.
And Ms. Stein, she's the Green Party, right?
Libertarian Party.
So,
yes,
which one gets to be the third party? Aren't you both the third and fourth? Which one's the fourth party?
Well, the third party would be, in our case, we're on the ballot in all 50 states.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah,
well done.
The only third party on the ballot in all 50
That's
states.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about like Guam and Puerto Rico?
They get to vote, yes.
They do,
They
yes.
vote. Yeah, they do vote, but they're not considered states.
That's true, they're not states, that's true.
Yeah.
They get to vote for president, they don't have representation in Congress, though. Actually, we're both wrong. They don't get to vote for president because they don't have delegates to the Electoral College because they're not states. Same reason they don't have senators. They do have congressmen who get to speak in Congress, but they can't vote. Crazy, huh? How do you feel about
They do unofficial representation.
Well, what good is unofficial representation, you know?
Yeah.
They don't get to vote for anything.
We may add them as states someday.
Well, it'd be nice.
Well, yeah.
51, 52 stars on the flag?
54.
54?
Yeah.
Why stop there? 60?
Yeah. Well, I think there's only a limited number. Maybe it ends at 54.
54.
I couldn't name you, starting with Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
I don't know where we go from there.
Actually, there are 5 potential states. Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and of course the District of Columbia. All the other territories are tiny islands made almost completely of bird shit. The more you know. Forgive my outfit, I'm dressed like a Jedi for Halloween today.
No, it's good. Halloween.
What? You don't have a costume today for any of the parties?
I kind of got this scary look on me all the time.
Ah, well, you're not very scary. You seem very friendly and lovable.
Well, you too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So what's the core concept of being a libertarian? What's that all about?
Libertarian, being able to smoke marijuana.
Oh,
legally. Yeah.
You can do that.
And less tax, less government.
Less tax?
Constitution of the... Do you know what the Constitution really is? It's a document that limits the power and scope of government.
Well, of course it does.
Protects us.
Well, it also outlines the power and scope of government.
Protects the minority against the will of the majority. That's the country we live in.
Well, shouldn't we protect the minorities against the will of the majority?
Yes, we should.
Shouldn't we all be protected from the will of the majority, for goodness sake?
Yes, for goodness sake. But I think that there are forces that would go the other direction.
Oh, okay. What forces are we speaking about now?
Well, Donald Trump would be one of those forces.
I'm scared of his forces. He's a scary cat. You're overacting just a little bit. I just want to let you know. You're a cool guy, but I want you to look good on my channel, you know? I want to pull some people towards you, you know?
Okay,
I want to shine the light of knowledge and sunshine upon you.
All right.
You know, but let's talk about Donald for a second.
Yes.
What's his deal, huh?
What is his deal when he wants to deport 11 million undocumented workers and building a fence across the border? I would not be...
He wants a wall. He wants a great wall.
Well, we're going to be on the wrong side of history if we build that wall.
Wrong side of the wall,
that's
too.
That's not what this country is about.
So what's the libertarian ideal? Is that like anarchy, like Road Warrior, that kind of a world where it's just every man for himself?
Government has a role to protect us. Protect us against individuals, groups, corporations, foreign governments that would do us harm.
I see.
Yeah,
all right.
Fundamental role.
But shouldn't they take on education and stuff as well?
Well, should the federal government take on education? No, but the cities should, states should.
Should they be compelled to?
Shouldn't they let you make as many choices in that process as possible?
But the trouble with choices, you see, is that if everyone gets choice, you can't possibly serve everyone what they want. You're going to have to homogenize a little bit of these things you're serving to people, yes?
Well, that's not the theory of this country. We get choices on all the things that we buy. There's certainly, you can argue that there are limited choices, but there are a lot of restaurants out there.
A lot of restaurants.
Some of them don't. Some of them go out of business because they're not so good. So why couldn't you apply that to virtually everything?
Well, see, we have 50 states here, right? Well, plus all those other places we talked about, and each state has slightly different governments, right? Slightly different rules, like. marijuana's legal in like 3 or 4 states now.
Yeah.
And so each one of these states is like a laboratory of what works.
Laboratory of innovation,
right?
Is what I call it. Laboratory of innovation.
Like in California, for example.
Yes.
Last couple of years, they've been really raising taxes on the wealthier people, and they've been cutting taxes on younger people. They've been doing more infrastructure stuff, and we seem to be doing really well with that sort of thing.
Well, and so more power to California, and for other states that want to emulate California, California is the example.
I wish they would. Well, this is really terrific. So, what are you doing in California?
Well, 9 days to go before the election, so I'm going to, give it everything I've got, going up to 9 days from now.
9 days from now.
9 days.
Boy, howdy, the 9th of November.
Boy.
The first Tuesday after the first Monday.
Is it the 9th or is it the 8th?
Well, I don't know. It's a Tuesday. I think the next Tuesday. You know.
8th. Yeah.
As long as you're there on a Tuesday, we can't go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, it's the 8th. How are you going to do? What do you think? Are you going to get you think you're going to surprise everyone and kind of come out like a dark horse from the rear of the pack? Or
there's that, the possibility exists. Probability doesn't.
The probability does not look strong.
Probability does not look strong, but collectively, maybe everybody could still come to their senses. We'll see.
Okay. What would happen? What's your dream scenario? What happens between now and next week where suddenly Gary Johnson is pulling into double digits?
Well, that is a possibility if people actually vote their conscience. The scenario's been written. I think that Trump is toast, and these latest revelations on Hillary.
He looks like toast, yeah.
And these latest revelations about Hillary just kind of bear out what we've already known.
So-called revelations about Hillary are just like that there's a couple of other emails they didn't get to yet, is all that they've said, really. And no one knows what's in them or is even claiming anything, is it?
Well, I'm going to guess that on day one, if she is elected, that it's going to be talk about impeachment for her whole term in office. That's my guess.
Why do people hate her so much? Because my theory, if I may tell you, is that people just hate her in the gut for the last 30 years for some reason. Too much like school mommy or something. And then they find these reasons to believe scandals.
When you got the WikiLeaks stuff that's coming out, and she's saying that one thing to Wall Street and another thing to Main Street, and when you look at the Democrat convention, all the things that Bernie Sanders was saying that he thought was happening actually happened because now we have the documentation. I think it's hypocrisy. I think it's saying one thing and doing another.
Okay, well, but Bernie now says we should all vote for Hillary.
What's that?
Bernie, Mr. Sanders, Senator Sanders, says we should all vote for Hillary.
I know, and I think Bernie may suffer as a result of that.
Why, for sticking with Hillary?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, what's funny about it is people are jumping from Bernie to Trump, which makes no sense. They're like opposites.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Not that that isn't happening for a few, but it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
Like he doesn't believe in global warming. He doesn't believe in anything. How do you feel about global warming? Are you for it or against it?
For it or against it?
Yeah.
Well, I certainly recognize that it is happening.
Good for you.
I do think that it's man-caused.
For sure.
Yeah.
What should we do about it then?
Well, I think we're demanding less carbon emission, and I think we're getting it in a really big way.
Okay. That sounds like some big government restrictions there you're talking about.
No, I think that's the free market. I think that free market has bankrupted coal. We're demanding less carbon emission, and coal is the best example I can think of free markets. Look, 36% of U.S. electricity is generated from coal, but we're not going to build any new coal plants because natural gas is less.
Natural gas is cheap. But you've got the fracking problems with that as well, though.
Well, and then when you look at fracking, there's some really incredible technologies out there that would accomplish the same thing without the negative consequence. So looking forward, I mean, we're all about innovation, we're all about invention, and that's the country we live in, and we're leading the world in those categories.
Well, I'm for all of that stuff. I think, you know what? I'm getting a sign from the producer fellow over there. I think it's time for us to wrap it up, young man.
Well, very much a pleasure.
It's been a great pleasure talking to you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Governor Johnson or just good old Gary?
Whatever you want to call me.
All right, Gary, you're a cool guy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that was Gary Johnson, kind of a nice guy. I really liked him. His heart's in the right place, I think, but he just really is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Look, government is complicated. It barely works when everyone agrees, and no one really agrees now. I think the best bet is someone who knows how it works and can get some good things done. That's why I'm sticking with Hillary. And if you really hate her, there's nothing I can say to change your mind. In that case, vote for Gary. Compared to Donald Trump, he's a genius.
Please like and subscribe.
Gary Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.